Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the values of the 6 trigonometric functions for the angle theta, if theta is in standard position, as shown in the diagram there, and its terminal side passes through the point -3, 2. Alright. Well, the first thing we want to do before we even go after those 6 trig functions is we want to draw a sketch. Okay, and this will help us find our different ratios, our different 6 functions here. Okay, so what I've done is I've graphed the point -3, 2, and I've drawn it so that it's on the terminal side of our angle, which is in standard position. Now, when you graph the point -3, 2, one of the important things to note is that it is in quadrant 2. Okay? Now, when you graph a point, well, think about how to get to that point. Well, normally when you graph a point, you start at the origin, you go left 3 units, and then you go up 2 units. Alright? Well, if you notice when we kind of do that, when we draw it in relation to our angle, we notice that we do form a right triangle. Okay? So because of this right triangle, this will help us find our 6 trig functions. Another thing to note is I'm labeling that one side 3. It is supposed to be -3 according to the coordinates and because we did go to the left, but we also don't want the length of a triangle to be negative. So I'm going to keep it as 3, but just to help you visualize that. But just keep in mind that the point is -3, 2. Okay? So we need to find the length of what has become the hypotenuse of our triangle. Okay, so we need to figure out what r is. So to do that, that's where we're going to go to our Pythagorean theorem. And we can still use -3 squared plus, because that's our x-coordinate, 2 squared, because 2 is our y-coordinate, and that'll give us r squared. Okay? So let's go ahead and do the math. So -3 squared is going to give us a positive 9. 2 squared will give us a 4. Alright, 9 plus 4 is going to give us 13. And then to finish this, we need to figure out what r is. So that means we're going to take the square root of both sides. So r is going to be, now 13 is not a perfect square, so we're going to leave it as an exact value underneath the square root. So r is going to be the square root of 13. Now that we have that, we have all 3 numbers that we need. So let's go ahead and find each of the functions. Let's start with sine. So the sine of our angle is going to be the ratio of the y-coordinate over r, which if you kind of look at this triangle, is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay? Think of it that way. So that means it's going to be, our y-coordinate is 2 over the square root of 13. Okay? But, again, we can't leave a square root on the denominator, so let's go ahead and rationalize that, and the way we do that is we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 13. And this will give us 2 square root of 13 all over 13. Okay? Let's go ahead and get cosine. And the cosine is going to be the x-coordinate over r. Or again, if you look at our triangle, you can conceive, because the x-coordinate is really the adjacent side, and then r is our hypotenuse, so it does follow along from that. So we're going to go ahead and put, remember, x is -3, and r is the square root of 13. And then same as sine here, we have a square root on the bottom, we can't leave it, so let's go ahead and rationalize that denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 13. So this is going to give us -3 square root of 13 all over 13. Okay. Let's go ahead and get tangent. Tangent is going to be the ratio of y over x, okay? Which again, if you look in terms of our right triangle, it actually does look like it's the opposite over the adjacent. So it does follow along from tangent. So for our picture, it's going to be 2 over our x-coordinate, -3. So it is -2/3, okay? Okay, so let's go get the 3 reciprocal functions now. Let's go get 3 other ones. Let's get cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal to sine, so it's r over y. Alright, so that means it's going to be the square root of 13 over 2. Okay? Which can be left that way because we don't have a square root in the denominator. So we can move on to secant. So the secant of our angle is, again, think of it as cosine flipped, or the reciprocal to cosine. It's going to be r, which is square root of 13 over the x-coordinate negative 3. So it is negative square root of 13 over 3. And then I'll finish by putting cotangent over here. And again, think of cotangent as tangent flipped, or the reciprocal to tangent. So it's going to be the x-coordinate over the y-coordinate. Okay, and those are the 6 trig functions. So to recap, draw a sketch, find out what r is, and then from there you can find your 6 trigonometric functions.